At some point in every ultra marathon, you're going to end up somewhere where runners call the pain cave. That moment is when your brain starts lying to you. Your legs hurt, your stomach won't take food, everything starts feeling overwhelming. Every voice in your head says the same exact thing: quit. Been there. I have been there. In my last 100 miler, I went there twice. Once at mile 30, I ended up crying in a parking lot, unable to keep any water down, and just overheated because it was unseasonably warm out. And then again at 65 because it was raining and I was convinced I was done. I was throwing up again. And I even texted my dad, I'm coming to the next aid station and I need a ride back. I'm done. There's one thing about the pain cave, though. If you run long enough, one, you're going to find it. And then you're going to learn how to navigate it. And you're going to come out stronger on the other side. So today we're talking about the pain cave, what it is, when it happens, and how we ultra runners get through it. Welcome to the UltraNurse Podcast. It's where we run long, work even longer. I'm your host, Brad, a flight nurse, a dad of 3, a mid-of-the-pack ultra runner, just trying to figure out this whole thing 1 mile at a time. This podcast is about running, especially long, while balancing shift work, family life, and everything else that comes with it. All right, before we get into the pain cave today, I want to bring up something that happened to me last week because it kind of ties directly into this episode. I got called out for my attitude by my coach, specifically my attitude about my VO2 max days, because I just love them. Flowers and sunshine. If you've been following along or listening to the podcast, we've talked about the benefits of having a coach. And yeah, you probably, if you follow my social media, you probably know that I just love sprinting and VO2 max work. I could, I do complain. I was complaining about a lot of them. A lot. That was my Lloyd impression from Dumb and Dumber. If you didn't catch that. And that, last week he called me out on it. Subtly. I love you, Ben. You know what? Honestly, he was completely right. Because mindset matters more than what we give it credit for. When I started kind of writing and scripting and outlining this episode, that conversation kind of came back to me. Because in ultra running, mindset is everything in life, really. When you're running long, your fitness matters. Your training matters, your preparation matters. But your mind decides whether you keep moving when things get really hard and keep putting that foot forward. That's exactly what the pain cave test. So what is it? And if you're new to endurance sports, especially ultra running, you might be wondering, what the hell are these weirdos talking about the pain cave? Well, it's just not physical pain. It's a mental and emotional collapse. It's when everything starts to feel completely overwhelming. Your brain starts spiraling. All your thoughts are turning negative, and you start saying things like, I can't do this. This is a mistake. I have 40 miles to go. Oh my God. I'm done. That voice gets extremely loud. I had a saying a while ago, like when 99% of you or that in your head says quit, you have to make that 1% damn louder than the other 99%. It's true. And people that haven't done them, and I'm not like, calling anybody out here, but they think about that ultras are all about physical endurance and fitness. They're really not. I mean, yeah, that has a lot to do with it, but ultras are more about managing your mindset than anything. If you run long enough, you're gonna meet I don't care who you are. If you run long enough, you are going into this pain cave. All right. So I outlined a few strategies of kind of managing the pain cave, and I should back up for a second here too. Because I said when this happens, when the pain cave mess, it's different for everybody. Kind of a big thing I've seen is usually between miles 60 and 80 is about the worst ones. Most times because you're in the night. Um, I mean, you're going to be hurting then. I don't care who you are. You're going to be hurting. So, I mean, this is for a 100-mile too. I know the new thing is 200. So, and I haven't done one yet. I don't know if I'm going to do one. I don't see myself doing one of them in the future. But anyways, it's different for everybody. And hell, like I said in the intro, I had one in mile 30. So, and that's odd for me. Usually mine are like around mile 50 to 60. My bad ones are about mile 65, 70. So, but it's different for everybody. And it's a different experience for everybody too. It's just the general consensus is it's just a complete overwhelming of emotional and like mindset that it's just doom. So moving on to strategies. I wrote 6 of them out here. Try to help some people. First one, and I just talked about this in a post the other week. Break the race down into micro goals. It's something that a lot of the elite ultra runners do really well. And they don't think about the whole race. When I line up for 100-mile, I never, ever, ever say, well, 100 miles to go. I hit mile 1, go 99 miles to go. I'm not doing 99 bottles of beer on the wall during an ultra. I break them down, and we break it down into small pieces. So instead of thinking, 50 miles left, we think, I just need to get to the next aid station. It's 5 miles away. And then we focus on the next aid station and the next aid station. It's the exact same strategy you could use during your hard workouts, like your interval workouts. I have 14 sprint intervals at the start. Actually, this week it's 20, but who's counting? All right. I'm not going in there being like, 20 sprint intervals. No. I think about my first sprint interval. All right. I'm gonna hammer this one for 30 seconds. All right. And then recovery. Then I got 30-second recovery. And then guess what? I'm going to do it again. And I'm just going to focus on, hey, man, I got 30 seconds. I can do 30 seconds, right? It's just 30 seconds. Hammer that one out. You do that enough times, you're going to get up to that 20. Just focus on the small victories. It's a good life lesson, too. You're not just going to go from $0 to $1 million. Make your first 100, then your first 1,000, then your first 10,000, and then your first 100,000. No, I am not a millionaire. I wish I was. If I was a millionaire, I'd still be doing this crap, though. I would just do more of them. So if anybody wants to give me $1 million and I'll do more of them and I'll talk more. Actually, I should be like, pay me $1 million and I will stop talking. And I'd probably make it a hell of a lot faster. Back on point. Stack enough small wins. Suddenly, the impossible becomes manageable. All right, strategy number 2. Change something physically. Elite runners know that they're in the pain cave, and you just need to change something. What's the term for insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results. Just adjust something physically sometimes. For example, slow down. If you're if you're in physical pain, just slow down. Walk for a minute. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're just in a calorie deficit. Try eating something. A lot of times you can flip yourself out. Yeah, just eat something. If pickles aren't sitting right anymore, don't keep eating pickles. That's stupid. By the way, I am the pickle eating champion of the world during ultra marathons. Kobayashi, come at me, bro. I will frickin' waste him. I plow pickles down. Drink something different. Nothing against, and I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm a bum. Nobody likes me. But no, if tailwind isn't sitting right in your gut, switch to something different. Try Gatorade, try Pepsi, whatever, Coke. If you're hot, dump water on your head. Take your jacket off. If you're cold, put a jacket on. Sometimes just changing one variable can reset your body and your mind. Interrupt the spiral. Number 3, use people. I know most of us healthcare peeps don't like people. myself included. No, I love people. But no, it's a huge strategy. Use a pacer. Sometimes just getting to somebody that with like that warm smile, that warm fuzzy smile, or somebody to talk to. Or if you're running solo, just making it to the next aid station and seeing people. Or seeing another runner out on the trail. Sometimes all it takes is somebody saying like, "Hey man, you're doing great." You know, I love when people say like, "You're looking good." And it's like, no, I don't look good. But no, that's sometimes it just takes some little outside energy to pull you out of a dark place. Number 4, say this to yourself. Remember, it's only temporary. I mean, I know that's an extremely hard thing to do when you're like barfing or like you can't run for a little moment or your knees just hurt so bad or you have no energy or you're just exhausted, tired, but it's only temporary. It really is. It's only temporary. I'm going to say this out in Uri about a gazillion times. This too shall pass. If the pain cave feels permanent, it really does. Anybody can relate to this. But guess what? It never is. It never, ever, ever is. Eventually, something's going to change. Eat something. The temperature drops or the temperature goes back up, and then your brain resets. But you have to stay in the fight long enough for that to happen. But you have to remember, it's only temporary. It really is. If you haven't gone into it yet, or you haven't survived a 100-miler yet, trust us. I'm not an expert. I'm not an elite athlete. I'm not winning these things, but listen to me. And anybody who has ever finished one of these and has come out on the other side will tell you that the pain cave is temporary. Stay in the fight. All right, where am I at? Number 5, gratitude. Gratitude. Super powerful. This is something that nurses and medics tend to forget, because, yeah, we see people every day who can't do this. People who are sick, people who are injured, people who have lost the ability to move. When you remember that, it changes your perspective. Instead of thinking, this sucks, I hate doing this, blah, blah, blah. Start saying this. I get to do this. I get to do this. It's an extreme privilege. It's an extreme privilege to be able to do this sport. We choose to do it. We need to remember that we get to. There's going to be a day when every one of us listening, every one of us running, even the elite athletes like Killian Ornay, Killian Court, Courtney Dauwalter, whoever you look up to, there's going to be a day when they can't run. We're all going to get there. So be extremely grateful that you were able to do it. Gratitude is everything. Be grateful. Remember, that could flip a mental switch. When you get down in there, be like, you know what? I get to do this. And then leading into my next and my most favorite one and my new strategy. This is my new one. This is what I'm going to use a lot in Colorado when I'm out there holding on for dear life. I'm a little anxious about this race. I'm going to talk about it a lot in the next 4 months, 4 or 5 months. Who's counting, right? But this is my strategy for out there. This is what's going to keep me going. Laughter. It's the simplest one, really. You got to laugh. Because when you step back and you look at this sport of endurance and ultra running, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's bonkers. It's running 100 miles through the woods, in the dark, sometimes in the rain, through storms, and we call it fun. It's less than 0.0001% of the population does it. And it's so stupid when you look back. It really is a dumb sport when you look back at it. So just laugh. Laugh at the absurdity of it. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at the situation. Really, that's what I'm going to use. It's just laughter. It breaks the tension. It really does. And I don't care who you are, it has to be enjoyable to some aspect. It really does. I know we're out there trying to find ourselves and, like trying to recover or trying to find, accomplish something, improve something. But it really does need to be fun. And I'll argue, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of really good runners and runners that I consider to be elite for my area. I don't know, I don't know the big dogs, but I'm sure they enjoy it too. Yeah. I mean, this is a sport. You have to love it. So laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself. And I just want to end. I want to close or bring this kind of all together that pain caves, they just it's just not happening in running either. I know this is like niched towards healthcare workers, as for nurses and people that are doing shift work, but we know this, right? And you have to remember this, pain caves if you're working in the ER, working in the ICU, if you're on the ambulance, and you're getting your waiting room's packed, right? Or that you're on the rig and there's back to back calls. Or if you're in the ICU and you won't stop hearing that helicopter pad, the helicopters on your pad bringing you in patients, more admits. Or if you're dealing with families yelling at you or patients yelling at you or patients getting really sick and patients dying. Those are pain caves too. You know what? And even pain caves in real life too, right? I hate to get all serious and soppy, but no, seriously, your spouse left you, or someone close dies, or you're having financial problems. It's just a pain cave. You got to keep going. All right. And the strategy is the same. The strategy is the same as in ultras. Focus on one thing at a time. One patient, one task, one moment. Flip your mindset. I know it sucks. Flip your mindset. Try doing something different. But the main point is to keep putting your foot in front of the other, because eventually it's going to get better. It really does. And you're going to grow from it. In some of them situations I was talking about, you're going to look back and laugh at it, but you're going to learn from it. You're going to grow from it. You're going to be better at it for it. You're going to be a better human for it. So one moment, and eventually you'll get through it. Your shift will end, Yeah. The race continues. All right. So that's a wrap for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending part of your run or your drive or maybe even your shift with me. You better not be listening though, and you're taking care of patients. I will unsubscribe you. No, I don't unsubscribe to anybody. Back. But you know what? If you found joy in this, if this episode has helped you or gave you any sort of insight, or another runner or another shift worker or anybody that could use it, share it with them. I'd appreciate that. And make sure you're subscribed and follow so you don't miss the next episode. They're all riveting. They're getting better, I think. I think they're getting better. I hope they're getting better. And hey, if you got time, leave a rating or a comment. That helps more than you think. It really does. So, and hit us up on our socials. We're on Instagram and TikTok, and we got a YouTube channel too. And I appreciate the heck out of you listening and following along. And so, without further ado, love each and every one of you, and go out there and rip some miles.